what is up and how's it going? We are back, baby. It is the Noble Steady sort of sports talk edition of the Dynasty Doctors. It's one half of the Doctors, Tyler here, with the other half of the Doctors, Shane. Shane, how you doing today, buddy?
Good. I'm healed up. I can hear. I'm ready to chat about Dynasty and pretty fun rookie class.
Yes. Look, we've been away for a little bit. We've had a lot happen actually in a span a short period of time. But we are back. We're going to be back recording consistently, pumping out videos and on Spotify as well, different podcasts. And let's not forget the steady to the Noble Steady. Joey, how's it going, buddy?
Oh man, it's like you said, a lot's been happening. I was sick, then you were sick, then Shane was sick, then I was sick. Just an endless cycle of sickness, kind of the pandemic, if you will, within the Noble Steady umbrella.
But all different sicknesses, though.
Yeah, no, it wasn't one. It was like 7 different things. It wasn't a legit thing. Like, just we all got sick.
Life happened.
And then also I caught the Stanley Cup bug. I don't know if you could tell by my hat. I'm hoping my Stars could pull out a win down 3-1 going into game 5. So not looking good, but I'm faithful. They're going to annoy me. I have signed an oath for them to annoy the shit out of me every year. And this is just the 3rd year in a row that they make the conference finals. So, which is more than I can say for the Dallas Cowboys since the DVD was invented. So,
yes. Shoot strays at the Cowboys. We love it.
Jeez.
I am a Saints fan, but I have a Stars hat on, and people tell me that's too close to the Cowboys. And I'm here to say you can be a Dallas Stars fan and be a Saints fan at the same time. You don't have to be a Cowboys fan.
I mean, that's fair. We don't have a hockey team here, so I mean, it's fair. Well, yet. Well, Joey, no offense, but we're gonna shift gears here back to Dynasty Fantasy Football. Why don't you tell the people what we're gonna be covering today?
So we're gonna do a little bit of a draft recap. The draft was a couple weeks ago. We had our fantasy draft a little bit after that. Won't say who did the best, but I did pretty good, if I can brag. But we want to see what the guys think about who landed in the right spot, who's going to struggle, who you should pass on, and who you should take a little early. So how do y'all feel about that?
I'm about it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. As your receptionist, I have my first question. Hey, y'all are doctors. I got to be something. So I want to hit on the first thing I want to hit on. Everyone's talking about quarterbacks. I want to skip position battles. Let's just go with who do you think landed in the right spot? Tyler.
So, yeah, I'll take this one over. I mean, I think everybody in the Dynasty Fantasy community can agree that, RJ Harvey landed in a pretty dang good spot. It's never a bad thing to land with Sean Payton as his handpicked running back. Look, Javonte Williams is gone. There is a bunch of touches, and I think he had 70 targets, something like that, last year that are just vacated. They're gone. RJ Harvey can step right in. He has a draft capital, which we all know second-round picks are essentially first-round picks for running backs. Look, he doesn't have a lot of competition there. Jaleel McLaughlin, Audrey Gaston seems more of like a 1-2, a first, second down plotter kind of guy. I like it. The only thing I don't like about it is I wasn't able to get him in any of my dynasty leagues this year. Unfortunately, I just didn't have he wasn't in the range of where I was drafting. Let's just put it that way. But, you got to love Sean Payton, the way he schemes up touches for his running backs. He's already putting out tweets with he's a picture with his daughter, and he's like, oh, when your daughter loves your second round pick or something like that. Come on. You got to follow the arrows. You got to look at the signs, and all signs are pointing to this guy is going to get every opportunity with a hell of a play caller. And I guess you could say I'm buying more into Sean Payton, but look, it's a bet that pays off more times than not. Right.
Yeah. I agree. I think we've talked about this a little bit off air. There's a lot of people that land in some really good spots.
Yeah.
But I love RJ Harvey, but just to go different than RJ Harvey, I would say Amari and Hampton's maybe my second favorite. The dude's a beast of a man. I don't think Najee Harris is going to be that much competition, but he's only on a 1-year deal. I think they're going to put this kid in and see what he can do, and I think he's going to thrive in that offense.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, I know Jim Harbaugh was out here saying he woke up from a dream saying he had to make Justin Herbert a Hall of Fame quarterback and stuff, and that's all fine and dandy, but I still don't see him changing his philosophy from pounding the rock. And I mean, they essentially drafted Najee clone, but just a better version of him. You know what I mean? Like Najee 2.0, just bigger and faster, stronger. And I love the pick, and I couldn't agree more. Shane.
So let me ask you this question. I want to stay in the AFC West if I can.
Yeah. Good.
You know, talking about running back, I do want to get y'all's opinion on what y'all think Ashton Genty is going to do in Vegas. I almost said Oakland. You know, quarterback's kind of a question for them. How well is it going to do? It's also a Pete Carroll system. So what do y'all think of Ashton Genty in the silver and black?
Shane, why don't you take this one, bud? And I'll go after you.
I mean, I love the kid as a talent. I think we talked about it. I wanted him to win the Heisman. I think if he played at a bit better school, he might have won the Heisman. But you know, he's going to get all the touches. He doesn't have a lot of competition there. You know, Zamir White. I'd be a little more concerned about maybe their offensive line. I think the Raiders still have a year or two of building. They have solid pieces on the team. You know, I think what plays into him is he's going to be able to catch the ball, and I think they're going to be down. They play in a tough division, and you're going to have a quarterback dump the ball off. And I still think he's going to be from a fantasy standpoint, I think he's going to be a top 10 back. If you look at ESPN, they got this kid going 4th overall. That seems a little steep for me, but I have him in one league. I obviously am hoping that he's gonna be a stud, but he could face a little growing pains based on the team and the personnel on the team.
I mean, that's very fair. I'm gonna say right now, I think he's gonna be a stud right from the jump. I agree. The offensive line isn't great in Oakland. I think they have some pieces there. It's not great, but I think they'll have enough just to patchwork it together where he can see enough daylight. You know what I mean? But he's just such a dynamic back, and Oakland got a hell of a player. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. As I was looking through this and trying to stat some stuff out of him getting 1,200 yards, easy, in my opinion.
Las Vegas.
I was going to say there's a reason that the offensive line in Oakland is struggling. Is that's because it's non-existent in Oakland.
Yeah.
Whatever. Y'all know what I mean.
No, I just got to.
Joey threw me off by saying Oakland earlier. And I wouldn't have said I wouldn't have said Oakland.
I almost said Oakland, but I caught myself and I said Vegas.
Well, congratulations, Vegas. You got a hell of a player.
All right. So with that, best situation. Now let's move to the worst. Anything kind of caught your eye? Who went first last time? Tyler, let's go Shane.
There's a couple here, but the one that sticks out the most to me is Luther Burden. And I agree with Tyler's pick, but Luther Burden is in an offense that currently has DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Cole Kmet, Loveland, who they spent high draft capital on, and then himself. A lot of mouths to feed. Swift catches the ball too. I think the offense is primed to take a leap forward with Ben Johnson, but how many touches is this guy going to get? He's probably 4th or 5th in the pecking order at best. So from a fantasy relevant standpoint, maybe not this year, maybe next year, unless an injury happens. I think it's a rough spot for him. He's talented, but I don't think he's going to make a huge impact.
Yeah, I mean, spoiler alert, that was one of my picks for rookies to struggle. But yeah, it's just you got to find where the touches are coming from, like you said. And honestly, and the funniest thing was, and I'm pretty sure I texted you this right after they drafted him. I'm like, they just drafted DJ Moore 2.0. because that's what I kept saying. Where it kind of falls in at, and I'm like, okay, I get the logic behind it, but at least for year one, I don't see a clear path. But I mean, look, I think Rome's going to be one of your outside receivers. I also think they're going to make a point to get DJ Moore the ball more this year because let's just call it last year was just a wash with the way that offense was being run and everything. And they paid DJ Moore. So I think they're going to try to get him the ball a little bit more this time. So like I completely agree with you. I don't see where the touches come for Luther Burden. Like the player, he wasn't the top of my board coming out, but solid. But I agree, he's going to be very, very hard to find touches in an offense, at least initially. So I'll move on to mine. And there's another player I really liked. Kind of was a shock. He was the second out of his position taken. That's going to be Tyler Warren out of Penn State going to Indy. Like, Indy was one of those spots where, like, kind of like how the Saints were last year, where everybody kind of knew they were taking a tackle with their first pick. I feel like Indy was kind of the same way, with everybody kind of figured they were taking a tight end with their first pick. Because, I mean, they just don't really have anybody at that spot. And I was just very, Tyler Warren, I was kind of surprised that like I said, he went second. But my major concern with him, the landing spot isn't terrible, like with opportunity wise. It's just your two quarterbacks you're looking down the barrel of are Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, which could be beneficial if it's Anthony Richardson, but because like they'll draw up short dump offs to Tyler Warren. But I just would rather not make that bet to go with a guy that's in an offense with quarterbacks that are giant question mark. Love the draft capital, 14. I think he's going to be great for his career. If Anthony Richardson takes that next step, or Daniel Jones turns his career around and has a Sam Darnold type of season, then yeah, he could be beneficial. But I mean, he could have a great season. I just don't see it right now. And if I'm talking right now on May 29th, that's not the bet I'm willing to make.
Okay. Shane, do you have a response to that?
Totally agree. I don't think, I mean, it's just a horrible spot. I was a little surprised that some of the teams that passed him up, especially with his talent, they said that the Bears passed on him because they like Loveland as a full all-around tight end, and Ben Johnson Simpson, he complements Kmet. You hear a lot of stuff. I get why maybe the Bears passed on him and took Loveland. I was surprised that some of the teams that passed on him, where he could have been a lot more beneficial to their offense and help them more. I don't see him helping the Colts this year because their quarterback situation is abysmal right now.
It's just a big question mark, right? Like, if we can get the Anthony Richardson that played those 3.5 games 2 years ago, then by all means the Colts could be on their way. But not the one that's tapping out and just inaccurate during. And that team's got a lot of question marks. Honestly, the only person I'd want right now is Jonathan Taylor, just because he is going to get a crap ton of work.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that. I think honestly, if I had to, and I'm saying this as someone who who drafted Tyler Warren, my thing is this: that pick was more see what he can do this year. If they suck enough, I think that the quarterback class next year is deep enough that they could get somebody. So that can only help your situation, in my opinion.
That's fair.
That's extremely fair.
So don't just be scared of Tyler Warren because of this. Again, this is an opinion-based show. You could take it how you want. I will say, though, my biggest concern with Tyler Warren is
his first name. Just kidding, Tyler.
That's what I was going to say, actually. No, if it's just
what is happening?
Indianapolis, Indy, to me, I feel like that division is just such a wreck that they could do better. Like they could, if the floor for Houston is obviously missing the playoffs, I think that division could be the NFC South of the other side. So that can only help them in the long run, and maybe they'll put more effort into getting the quarterbacks to improve and maybe look at their tight ends a little more just to dump off.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So After that, so we always talk about like guys that we know that are in good situations, guys that we think are in bad or know are in bad situations. Who do you think is going to do good? Who do you think is going to break out? Who has that high ceiling that we're not thinking of? Tyler, let's start with you.
I'm gonna tell you what. Somebody that could have not have had a better draft night, and that's going to be Tetaroa McMillan, going 8th overall to the Carolina Panthers. He walks in as the number 1 wide receiver, like off the jump, with an ascending young quarterback and a young offensive head coach that is going to draw plays for him. Like, he is the hand-picked guy that they wanted. And trust me, they needed defense way more than they needed a wide receiver. But they decided to go this route and get Bryce Young another weapon with a top 10 pick. Look, it's Drake London 2.0, at least right now for me, which I think with the ability to be Mike Evans, if he hits his potential. But I love the pick. I think Dave Canales, he improved that team. A lot of people like to give Chuba Hubbard and don't really like to give Bryce Young credit, but Chuba Hubbard had a great season as well. But they don't realize that Bryce Young, they went from the pass rate of they finished in 14th in pass rate last year. That is damn near top half of the league, and where you want to be in Dynasty Fantasy Football. That's where you want your targets to go, where you want your high level wide receivers to be at. Easily could be a top 12 pass rate team next year. So I love Tetaroa McMillan in this draft. I definitely snagged him when I could, and dang happy to. Shane, who you got, bud?
Real follow up there first. 2 questions for you. Do you feel positive? I saw a stat today, which was Bryce Young scored 10% of his fantasy points last year in the last week 18. So he finished strong. Some people might take that negatively, but I would think that they started hitting their stride last year. So you're adding this kid, I think, makes him pretty deadly offensively. Would you agree to that?
I mean, yeah, you got Ted, you have Xavier Legette as your 2 outside receivers. You can even play Ted as a power slot. It really just opens up the offense. And Chuba Hubbard is a damn good back and is legit and can help carry the load. So Bryce Young doesn't have to be the superstar. Look, Bryce Young is going to always be compared to that trade, and it's not really right. You know what I mean? He shouldn't have been the first overall pick in that draft, but he can still be a solid NFL quarterback, and it's another big body wide receiver for him.
All right, so in a redraft league, where would you take McMillan? Like, where is it? Is there somebody like people might be shocked that you would, because you are high on this guy. So I'm just curious, like, to put it in perspective to how high you are, like, what level would you draft him?
I mean, I think he's a top 20 wide receiver right now. Like,
okay.
From the word go.
Just from potential standpoint, I didn't know if there was somebody like, okay, you get to, 12th, 13th.
I haven't thought about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'd have to really sit down and kind of rank them out. But I mean, he's not top 10. I'm not going to be that bold. And I want to say there's probably 15 definitely that are better, but I don't think there's 20, a solid 20 that are better.
Okay.
So,
well, my breakout. So I had 2, just because Tyler kind of did a good job at covering the first one, which is RJ Harvey. I don't know if you consider him a breakout, but he's not a guy that was drafted in the first round. So I don't know, I feel like he's going to do solid, but I think a guy that's really sneaky and could be his number 1 on his team is Matthew Golden. And the reason why I say that is it's I'm not like pretty bullish on this, but when you look at that offense, they've tried to put pieces in there, and I feel that most of them aren't consistent at the receiving option. The tight ends have been hurt. The wide receivers get hurt. So, I mean, Jordan Love's a good quarterback. If he clicks with this guy, then I think he could clearly be their number 1. Now, they still have a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, but he has the potential for me to break out where when we look at a lot of the running backs, if you're looking at the receivers behind Tet, there's Travis Hunter, who people are very split on. And then to me, Golden could be the second highest scoring receiver just because of his situation,
Yeah.
So that was my guy.
So
Okay.
I want to touch on Hunter a little bit. Is it people are split because they don't know what kind of wide receiver he's going to be, or is it that people are split because they know he wants to play both sides of the ball, and you don't know how well he's going to be on either side?
My opinion, the Jaguars have made it pretty clear, at least to me, reading between the lines, he's a receiver first. He's a talented guy. I think to make him happy, they're going to put him in on some critical downs, maybe play slot, slot corner. They're going to put him in there, but they drafted. You don't draft him that high to not play him on the offense, and you've got a offensive coordinator who just had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and now you get Brian Thomas and Hunter. I mean, Hunter's going to get peppered with targets, just like Brian Thomas is. He's going to help. They're going to complement each other. I don't see the problem. I would love to have him on my team. If he went to a different, you don't trade up from that spot, take him at 2 and not put him on the most. I mean, offense is what pushes the ratings. They're going to put that dude on the field on the offense, in my opinion.
Could not agree more. Not only do you take him at 2, you traded up another one next year. You paid a quarterback premium for a non-QB to move up 3 spots. That dude is playing wide receiver. I don't care what they say. Like, you don't do that for a cornerback. Couldn't agree with you more. I love the landing spot for him. Because you're gonna have Michael Thomas. Jeez, we were talking about this before the show.
Don't bring Michael Thomas up, Tyler.
We have Brian Thomas, who can literally be your. Both of them they just complement each other really well, right? Like, they can both work the underneath routes while the other one does the vertical routes. So I'm excited to see the Jags offense. Now, I think this is the year that T-Law has no more excuses. The offensive line is not great, but he has weapons and he has a coach handpicked for him. So we'll see what happens on that front, but I couldn't agree more. I think if you are drafting, if you haven't done your rookie drafts by now, I think you're safe to take him. What do you say, 105 through 18 is where I'm kind of thinking proper landing spots.
Trying to remember where he went in our draft.
He went 106 or 7.
Was it 6?
It was 6 or 7. The guy had back-to-back picks. It didn't matter. Like one of the same. So
let's go from rookies you think have a higher floor to rookies you think have a higher ceiling. Now ones that have a lower floor. Who do you think is going to struggle more? Shane.
I don't like this pick for me, but because I love the player, his situation is Mbuka for me. And that's just really year 1. And that's based on the fact that if Mike Thomas and Chris Godwin come back healthy, who are both on pretty substantial contracts. Mike Evans, whatever his name is. Y'all got me flabbergasted.
Y'all both did it.
If Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are healthy, McMillan looked good. They have Otten, they have Bucky Irvin. Once again, I just feel like it falls into a lot of mouths to feed. I think it was a luxury pick for the Bucs. I love the pick. I love him on that offense, but unless he's really, I could see him struggling to get points or in that offense. I love the player, but when you look at some of the guys drafted in the first round, to me that was a shocking spot for him to go, and they saw the talent. Maybe they force him on the field. I could see that, but I still think for where he was drafted, I don't know if he's going to kind of pay that price, at least in year 1.
Yeah, I mean that's very fair. You took a lot of my picks. That was gonna be my fallback pick for the one on the struggling one, but I'll just go with my original one. It was Luther Burden. Couldn't agree more on that one. It's gonna be so hard for him to find touchdown offense, and I'm not gonna go into a whole soliloquy about it again. We've already touched on the subject. Another one is I love the player. I just don't know what the hell is gonna happen in Cleveland. Like Judkins, I wish he would have had a little bit better of a team that he went to. Love the draft capital. It's just maybe not this year. This seems like Cleveland's dumpster fire year. And Cleveland, don't come at me. It's the Saints' dumpster fire year too. It's okay. We're in this together. But, it's just for year one. I think.
I'm not in it with either of them. I'm not in it with either of those teams.
We know. But, yeah, so I'll be really brief on that one. Love the player. Situation could have been a little bit better, though.
At least I'm going to throw one in, too, and I'm curious your opinion. First overall pick, Cam Ward. Do you think he's going to succeed? That team needs a lot of help. They've got pieces scattered, but do you think he succeeds with that organization, or does he struggle year one?
Oh, I think the team is still a little bit away. I think they improve for sure. Maybe it's like a 6-win team kind of thing. I'll be honest with you. Cam Ward's not going to be somebody that moves the needle for fantasy, I think, really ever kind of thing, because he doesn't run enough. I don't see him as a 45 touchdown kind of guy. He'll be a good NFL quarterback. I think QB like 2, and for most years in fantasy.
He got the kiss of death, in my opinion, because Colin Cowherd, who never looks like he's played a sport in his entire life, said that he was going to bring the Titans to the playoffs this year. And so this is also the guy that said Baker Mayfield wasn't a good football player. So not a fan of his, of Colin Cowherd. I feel bad for Cam Ward, but I don't think they're going to the playoffs this year.
Hey, look, that's fair.
Who had the stronger opinion on it, though? Was it Colin Cowherd with Baker Mayfield, or was it Mel Kiper with Shador?
Let's talk about that real quick.
Well, it's a good point, Joey. And Tyler, you go first. I have my opinions on this as well.
This is why I set this up. I can't wait to hear
goodness. Like, I think Mel Kiper had money on it. And the way he was talking, like round 4, like on day 3, I feel like that money was on. He's going to get on the first 2 rounds. And you could tell he was pissed. Watch it, like, just hear it in his voice, like, I just don't get it. Okay, got this guy goes ahead of him. This guy goes ahead of him. You can't tell me they don't have question marks. This guy, you see it on the field. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, easy, Mel. Easy. But I just think Mel fell for his own hype, I guess. And the media was trying so hard for a second quarterback that they elevated Shador, and it wasn't there. And it's on this podcast. I said, I don't see it. And the NFL spoke.
I think the person that handled Shador not getting drafted until the 5th round best was Shador. I mean, Mel Kiper might have handled it the worst. and then Dion. And I don't know what Mel Kiper's status is at ESPN. Maybe he's hoping that Dion hires him at Colorado. I don't know. But the fact is, there's having your guy and being passionate about it, and then just owning that. At the end of the day, 32 teams passed on this guy multiple times, and he's got a great attitude. That's great. I mean, we all have great attitudes. We're not going to quarterback an NFL team. Okay, like it's just not happening. They're already starting. The media's starting with, oh, he's won the locker room over. Yeah, it's great. He's a fun guy to be around. Is he going to win a game? That's all they care about. That's all the coaches care about. So they obviously didn't think he was high enough to do it. Now, if he comes out and proves everyone wrong, more power to him. They're talking about how much money he lost. He ain't hurting for money. His dad's Dion. He got a lot of NIL money. He'll be all right.
I was just about to say NIL was very generous to him.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I enjoyed the memes that came out of it, where it's like Shador's going to come back and change his number to 22 because you can't unretire a number at Colorado, which I find it insane that they retired his number when you have a quarterback who I'm pretty sure he won a national title at Colorado and his number's not retired.
Hey, man, they won 4 games, okay?
I guess.
I could go. Look, you can't get me started on that, because I'll go for an hour on this with the fact that I still get that they Travis Hunter won the Heisman and they retired his number. I still think it was a stretch to do it that fast. So the fact that Shadur's is done is comical.
What makes me laugh is I'm pretty sure Dion represented both of his sons in the draft. And one of them, I think was it Shiloh, the defensive back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Immediately said, forget this. You're not representing me no more. Went to Drew Rosenhaus, got signed by the Bucks immediately. So, and might I remind you of a certain quarterback that I'm not going to name that also had a if he doesn't become a top quarterback, I'll retire. So Mel Kiper, retire.
For our
retire.
For our Spotify listeners that aren't watching on YouTube, Joey,
I held up the name Jimmy Clausen. If he's not a top quarterback, I'll retire. I'm waiting for them resignation papers, bitch. Get them out. Tired of hearing you cry because you had money on a pick.
Oof. Allegedly.
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 That's the only reason that you get as like
it's not
animated. That's the only way you get as animated as you do when you're just being told, hey, what's best available? What do they need? He was trying to get teams that didn't need a quarterback to draft Shador. He was like pleading with them to the point where I'm almost like, okay, dude, like you don't need to, make out with their wife. Calm down.
All I know is, Joey, I better be in the Ring of Honor at Moe's soon if Shador Sanders is in the Ring of Honor in Colorado. Okay. I've got my own pizza named after me.
I will. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Back to the rookie recap. Since
let's get back on track, baby.
So now y'all have been through what, 2 drafts?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I want you to take of any player that you really want. Like, who do you most want in the draft? That's not necessarily, the top guys. It's not an Ashton Genty. It's not, maybe an RJ Harvey. Who would you want in the draft?
I'll go first on this one. Like I was lucky enough to get him in one league. Wasn't able to get him in the other league, and that's going to be Caleb Johnson, the running back out of Iowa who got drafted in the 3rd round by Pittsburgh. Man, he couldn't have gone to a better landing spot. I don't care about Jaylen Warren whatsoever. You take your little scat back, and he'll play every now and then. I don't care. Caleb Johnson's going to be the workhorse for this team. They run a heavy zone running scheme. Guess what Caleb Johnson is built for, and with his patience and his one-cut ability? Oh, it's a zone running scheme. Arthur Smith, as much as I hate him for what he did to Bijan, is the offensive coordinator for this running back. So I love the noise of, Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren's a 5'8", 200-pound running back. He is not built to last the entire season. I guarantee you, Caleb Johnson will be the starting running back and be a dynamic one, and one that I would highly recommend getting everywhere you can. That's all by. And the reason why he fell to the 3rd round is because he ran a slow 40. But you watch the tape, he is not slow. He does not play slow whatsoever. And I'm excited to see what happens because the AFC North, power running behind his own offensive scheme. I can't wait to see it. Shane?
I totally agree. So, that would be one on my list. This might be a little deep dive. I'd not get him. And I might. What's the wide receiver from the Texans? Higgins. Is it Higgins?
The
first
Higgins,
one that
yeah.
was
Higgins.
I like his opportunity. There's a couple guys, if we're not talking, like I loved RJ Harvey, I couldn't get him. I loved Caleb Johnson, I couldn't get him. I think he's got a good opportunity with the injuries and the people who have left the Texans to be a solid number 2. Somebody that, because I really was drafting higher and didn't have a lot of picks this year, so I didn't deep dive as much, and I've seen him rise to as high as the 12th or 13th rated player drafted, is the guy from Jacksonville, Tootin. And where we drafted kind of early in one league, he went in the 3rd round. He went in the 2nd round in our other league. They've got him almost in the 12th. I saw an expert mock today. I think he went 13th. So he's a guy I missed on that maybe if I would have done a little bit more research on the lower level because I didn't have the picks, I probably would have wanted to grab him.
Yeah, you just had to bring it up, didn't you, Shane?
Sorry, Tyler. I'm so sorry.
God. No, Joe, you weren't involved in that draft. I was trying left and right to trade up because I knew the one person was going to snag him the pick before I had my pick. And I was offering my second round pick next year for a third round pick this year, and nobody would take it. And guess what happened, Joey? The pick before me, and that's when I angry.
Clearly, you didn't take my advice and just go for the one who I basically traded all of my second round picks for next year to move up in the draft multiple times.
No, I tried. Nobody wanted it.
I say this: I had 4 second round picks going into next year's draft.
I love how he just slips that in there, Shane.
And now I have none because I traded them all away to move up.
Dude, Joey looked like Sonny Weaver at our rookie draft, people. Okay, he before the draft and during the draft, I've never seen Joey so zoned in on building a roster. And I got to say, his roster is going to compete, and it looks good. And he worked hard to get it.
It's like, what was it? Tyler said, I'm like Will Ferrell in Old School. I just blacked out. I'm like, because what happened?
Yeah, I'm just sitting there eating my pizza. I made one trade, and I'm eating my pizza, and all of a sudden I realized that Joey has no second round picks next year and has 8 players from this year's draft. Like, what happened?
I don't know how it happened.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. It was
I left that draft thinking, man, can the season start tomorrow? Like, I'm excited. Like, let's get this going.
And Joey's like, I'm competing this year. Let's go.
Yeah, I want a championship. I did tell Alexis that if I win, which I'm not saying, I say this every year. If I win, I'm going to come to the next draft with a belt over my shoulder.
Yeah,
just to have some fun. So now that we're talking,
do you want to know how I'm going to my main league, Joey? Do you want to know how I'm going to my main league?
I heard this. I can't wait to hear this.
I'm going in a velour jumpsuit with a giant chain that says GOAT on it, with the belt wrapped around my waist, and the 3 championship rings that are all different on my left hand. And if I have time, I'm going to get my guy at 3D Prints to mold me a gauntlet that I can put the 3 rings in and then keep adding. And if I fill the gauntlet, I am going to retire and just run the league until someone matches my level of greatness.
Jeez.
That's so funny.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
that's awesome.
This is what we call next level trolling for people you've known. I've known some of these people for 30 years.
Tyler, we'll get there one day.
Well, it's
one day.
We're gradually progressing in the Dynasty League because apparently we have punishments this year. And not a fan of that.
Yeah, what is the punishment? I finished last. What is the punishment?
No, not
Can
this
we
year.
point out
no, I know that, but
the guy who's clearly going to finish last wants the punishment.
Or was
on track to finish last. I will. He don't check his phone. He ain't checking this. I mean, I think the winner should pick the punishment every year.
Oof. But
wait, hold on. If you won, Shane, what would your punishment be for last place?
I did win.
Okay. So because you won, say it's me, because I finished last, what would my punishment have been?
See, this is where you get into it. See, Joey, you're like my little teddy bear. I wouldn't do anything too bad to you, but I probably would have you wear who's the biggest competitor for the Dallas Stars?
Right now, Edmonton, but at the time,
who's
was
the Dallas
Colorado.
Rival?
Colorado.
Okay, you'd have to wear the Colorado hat at least 12 times on a podcast, so it's on video. See, like that's the type of stuff I would do. So, like if Tyler,
Falcon stuff.
Yeah, no, I think for Tyler more than anything, I think he would have to just praise Corey on every podcast. Just like you got to think next level here, like something that like
I like
you
Corey.
could wear Falcons, huh?
I like Corey.
I love Corey, but I'm just talking about from a fantasy standpoint. You have to
No,
praise
fuck
him.
that guy.
Exactly. You know,
See me, I would be bad. I would be awful. Like, so the guy we talked about it pre-podcast or pre-recording today, that there's somebody in our league, I'm not going to name any names, I'll let y'all name it, has been trying to get somebody on my roster, and I've told him, no, I'm not
Bro,
interested
you can
in
say Jono.
trading
We've
him.
said his name many times on
Okay,
this podcast.
I wasn't going to out it, but Jono.
I mean, the Pope knows who Jono is. Jono tried to trade with him. As soon as that smoke came out, Jono was trying to slip in that spot.
I'll give you my 2028 first for your funny hat.
I'll give you a 2028 for the papacy right now.
Yeah. Oh man.
So he's been trying to get Brian Robinson from me for since the draft ended. And I told him, no, I'm not interested. No, I'm not interested. I'll trade this other player. No, I'm not interested. And they keep sending. So if I won and he finished last, my punishment would be he is not allowed to trade so 2029 will become available to trade. He's not allowed to trade any of his 2029 picks away at all. They're his. They cannot be moved. And that would kill him because he likes trading his futures away. As soon as that draft was over and 2028 became available, he sent me a trade offer for Brian Robinson for the first round pick of 2028.
Joe, I think I like it. I think you're thinking a little too small, though. See, I would make it. He's only allowed to trade 5 times in the whole year.
He's like, dude, that sucks. I can't flip my entire roster by then.
Yeah, I already traded 6 times. I already owe one for the following year. So that's anyway. We've gone way off track. Let's reel this back in. We got one more category to talk about.
So let's finish with some negativity, baby.
Last category. We're not going to finish on negativity. We're going to. So one rookie that you wanted. Now, what's the one rookie you think that the hype isn't there? You know, everyone's talking about him, but you just don't want him for whatever reason. I don't know. Who went first last time? Tyler, Shane, you go first.
I was about to say Shane's going to go first on this one.
Yes.
See, and like Tyler's pick, I'm not going to tip it, but I actually like him. But Tyler's been so negative. He's made me rethought my whole way on it. Like I like him and I want him to succeed, but like I feel like he's going to just fade away and we'll never hear about him because Tyler is so bullish on his take. But I'll let Tyler talk about that. I don't know. So there's a couple guys. They're all late. Like to me, I didn't get the Tootin thing. I don't want the Jacksonville running game, but I think I have to look at who's running that now. So I've struggled. I've kind of struggled with this pick. The main one that jumped off to me is Judkins, and that is strictly because of where he went. I like his talent. They drafted another running back. I don't know what that team's doing. I don't know who's quarterbacking it. So if I had to pick one, because I went back and forth on it, I would say I would pass on him just because of how high you had to draft him and the other players that you could get there. So from a rookie I'm passing on, that would be my thought. Now in a redraft league, I would take a flyer on him late, but like in Dynasty, the capital was too high. I would rather draft somebody that I felt more comfortable with.
That's fair.
Tyler.
So I'm gonna
Who is the guy that Shane has teased here?
Well, I'm gonna preface this with a trigger warning for the Dynasty fantasy community because they have been all on this guy, and I feel like I'm on an island. It's Cam Scatterbo. And don't get me wrong, I liked him at Arizona State. I thought he was he was that team. You know what I mean? I just don't see it. Like, I guess I'm just missing it where everybody else is. I see a really good college running back. I see a guy that, will be okay in the pros, but I don't see him where, hell, we were in a draft and he went in the first round. Like, no, I don't see that. hell, I wouldn't take him in the second round. He's going to a situation in New York, another one where, guess what? In a year, the coach, the GM could both be gone, starting from scratch. And guess what? A new regime's going to come in and want their own players. That's why it's just so hard to invest in a guy that his breakout age is horrendous for his player profile, right? Like, I think he maximized his physical gifts and good on him in college. I just don't see it where he's going to be able to be. He may be a serviceable back. He may be a good back. But the way people are talking about him, they're talking about he's going to be the next he's going to be a superstar. I just don't see that. And that's where I'm at, where I'm passing on it just based on the price. I mean, look, he does have Tyrone Tracy there. Now, granted, I know Tyrone Tracy had fumbling issues down the stretch and kind of lost that job anyway, but he still has competition there. And people act like he had great draft capital and everything like that. He's a 4th-round running back. Historically, you can go down the line. I mean, do we not remember what was it 2 years ago? Yeah, Damian Pierce hype train. Choo, everybody fucking hop along. And guess what? He is. I don't even know where he's at anymore. He's definitely not playing.
I think he's still at Houston, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's not doing anything in Houston.
He's not doing anything. I will tell you, Tyler, you're not alone. You've convinced me. I may be mad at you later on in the year, but
you could be.
I traded out of my 2nd-round pick, which was the only pick I had in our dynasty draft, because that's the best player I had on my board, and I didn't feel confident drafting him, so I traded out.
Look, like I said, I could be completely wrong, and Lord knows I'm not batting 1,000. I just don't see what everybody else is seeing, and I could be, like I said, completely wrong when it comes down to the end of it, the end of the year. But I'll do. Go ahead.
Well, I think what people need to understand too, and I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, what Tyler's saying too is this guy could probably have a decent year this year, but he could have a decent year and they clean house, and he's not anybody's guy. He's a 4th-round value. He's easily cuttable. If you're trying to gut a team, you're going to bring your guys in. So it's not in Dynasty, as everybody knows, it's not a 1-year thing. It's a multi-year thing where we've touched on Tyler Warren, looks good for the future. And Buka, good for the future. You know, they have high draft capital. This guy doesn't have high draft capital. Hey, he's a fun guy to watch in college. Can he translate it? But he's probably, like you said, he's maximized. What you saw in college is all you're getting in the pros at best.
Yeah, I don't see him magically gaining 15 pounds of muscle and shedding a 40 time. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see that happening.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Oh, we're gonna get so much hate from the Dynasty fans community. So much hate.
How could you be so mean on Cam Scatterboo? He's gonna be great. He's gonna win the MVP.
Blah, blah, blah. Scatterboo, tootin'. I mean, we're just like taking it to the
I'll own Tootin. I didn't even know who he was, and then Tyler's calling me, telling me I'm trying to trade up this guy. I'm like, who is it? I don't even know who it is, because I really, where I've done a lot more research, I've been going all in both leagues, and if I've had a pick, it's been one, and that's not a guy I was looking at. So I mean, it is Scatterboo, like in a redraft league. If I'm going 0 RB, yeah, I'll take a flyer on him. I think that's what people need to understand. And like we said, if we're trying to build a team and Tyler's in a situation to win, Joey's in a situation to win, I'm in a situation to win, he's not who I'm picking, because there's too much. You're trying to pick guys that you feel strongly about that are going to contribute long-term and short-term. And he didn't fit the bill, at least for me and Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, just for my roster construction, actually, I take both leagues, because I'm young at running back, right, with stud guys. I don't need a guy that I'm hoping pans out. I need a guy that's going to be like, okay, here's a solid bench piece behind him, or a handcuff. You know, that's really all it is. And that's what I just wasn't looking for it. And, you know, I went back and watched it. He was never really on my radar to take, because I knew he was going to get overhyped. This is a fun watch in college, and he did well in the college football playoff. People are going to overdraft him. I wish him the best. It's just the way I see it.
Yeah.
But so I want to touch on something that's not really on our show sheet. You know, we talk about this year's draft was more running back, wide receiver heavy. plus the few tight ends that they had. And I know the draft that I was involved in, there's only 2 quarterbacks taken. So what are your thoughts? Like, what's y'all's thoughts on the quarterback situation this year in the draft? Is it better to just wait until free agency hits, or should you be set enough at quarterback before this draft?
Shane, do you want to take this one, or you want me to start?
Well, we did have 3 taken, not 2.
Well, anyway,
because
I'll
I
take
took
this
one
one.
of them. No, Jalen Monroe, Dart, and Cam Ward went.
Oh, that's right.
What
I got Jackson Dart.
No, what I would
Okay.
say, Joe, is if you look at we're in a 1 quarterback league for one. If we were in a super flex league, it'd be a different story. We're in a 1 quarterback league in both my dynasties, and the quarterbacks coming out next year look like studs. And it's not to knock these guys, but we touched on Cam Ward's situation. I know that Jackson Dart, Dabo loves him, but then we touched on the fact that they could clean house next year. Tyler Shuck's 26. People don't like that. I don't see a problem with that one because if he would have sat for 3 years and started at 26, it is what it is. But the Saints are not their best players are old. They got a whole thing going on of are we going to compete? Are we going to rebuild? And then like Jalen Milroe is behind Darnold, so like there wasn't a lot of landing spots that like clear cut. They're going to start day one, maybe besides Cam Ward. And I think you saw him kind of go in the mid-second round in both drafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
If I needed a quarterback, unless I'm trying to compete, I would wait till next year.
So I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. If I'm in need of a quarterback and I'm considering using one of my picks on one, I'm gonna first try to go to other managers that took a quarterback from last year's class and see if I can get one of them first. If that makes sense, just because every one of them has a better better trajectory. Look, off subject here. I think y'all knows from my drafts, especially the one we did together. I'm all in on the Patriots, man. I absolutely love what they did in the draft. They're surrounding Drake May. Like I have him in one league. I don't think I'm gonna try to get him in the other leagues. I have Josh Allen, but I have a feeling he's gonna be one of the ones that takes a huge leap this year.
That is somebody we missed, Tyler. I had him on my list and we didn't speak on. Was the receiver they drafted for him?
Kyle Williams.
Was it Williams? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle Williams could easily break out this year and also be there's no number 1 on that team. He clearly could be it.
Look, 3rd round draft capital, definitely worth a shot. Like him and Pat Bryant, if you want to bring in the guy from Denver as well, was 3rd round pick. There's a lot of interesting guys in this draft. This draft was definitely the one if you need a running back, right? Shane, this is the running back draft. Sorry, that's just from one of our other leagues. The guy said that this was not a running back. There was only one player in this draft, and it was pretty funny. But
I'll touch on the fact that Joey's mentioned he traded a lot of his picks for next year. It's a quarterback heavy draft, and Joey got he knows who he got with all these picks. So it's a deep class. You throw a lot against the wall. You're hoping to hit. I love that mentality. I've got some picks next year. One I'm going to hold on to for sure, but I might, depending on if I'm competing, I might try to trade him because I don't necessarily need a quarterback. I could take one, because I passed on Jaden Daniels in one league because I had Mahomes. I would have been starting Daniels over Mahomes. So you never know. Next year's quarterback class is the one I would easily take a shot on over this one.
And if you're looking for 2 years from now, there's wide receivers.
Shout out Corey.
I mean, like when with my team, I had I didn't need to make the last pick that I made in the draft. It was, I think, 3.5. I had traded it away. I just kind of looked at it and I said, you know what? Let me just try to add. I have Brock Purdy and Jaden Daniels at quarterback. And I looked at them and I said, you know what? If one of them gets hurt, I'm kind of boned if I get to the meat of the season and their bye week comes up. Like if I hit a bye week late, I got to pick up somebody who's a reject pretty much. So I was like, screw it. I'll just take I'll try to pick up a quarterback that I think would do decent for a little bit. So I picked Cam Ward.
Hey, look, it's a solid pick.
One of the best statements I've ever heard, Joey. I mean, I'm kind of boned. Oh,
look,
sorry.
I mean, I'm not wrong.
Oh, man.
I mean, heck, you look at my roster. I literally and I promise you, this is not a brag. I'm really not trying to make this look like a brag. But I feel like my bench could outscore some people's starting lineups in our league.
Not a big deal.
Oh, okay.
That's what it should follow. That's what should follow. Not a big deal.
No.
But I could see it, though. Like, you also got to think, one of the people that drafted didn't, like, his running back core is, what, one person?
No, he fixed it.
Oh, he fixed it? Okay.
He got James Conner.
Oh, he fixed it. Okay.
I don't consider that fixing it, but okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than having, like, Jarquez Hunter as a starter and praying.
Yeah.
That's another thing I don't get the hype train behind right now. And they're just going to talk about it. They're like, oh, yeah, he could be the instant. I get it. He's a different type of running back than Kyron and Blake Corum. But when is Sean McVay split carries?
I think there's a better shot at that kid playing receiver. Maybe they throw him in the slot every now and then. I don't think that he's not supplanting Kyron Williams or Blake Corum. I mean, at least this year.
Corum, I'm not going to discount that. Maybe Corum just isn't good enough. I don't know. He really didn't play that much. But you have Kyron Williams, who has done it multiple times, and I feel like they're going to probably just try to run him into the ground before they have to pay him again.
Yeah.
So, anywho, anything else you want to touch on, gentlemen? Because I feel like we're in a pretty good spot right here.
No, I think that's it. It's going to be a fun Dynasty year.
I can't wait.
Should be
I can't wait
interesting.
either.
I'm coming for that spot, Shane. You know that.
Got to get through me first, fool.
What spot?
Championship spot. Yeah, I'll give you flowers. You won last year.
There's no half championships in this league.
Nope, there's not. They also don't have people dying during the middle of the game in this season. So, stuff happens, Shane.
Yeah, but
that dude still came back to football before Michael Thomas. Just to be clear. He died and came back.
With that, has been another.
He died and came back before we got GTA 6.
That's true too. Anyway, with that one, I'm your host Tyler, with my main man Joey and my co-host Shane. Y'all take it easy, and we'll be back with another edition of Noble Steady Sort of Sports Talk and the Dynasty Docs. Later.